of our bodies as a sacred temple of intuition. And you can, say it's a conduit, a vessel, whatever you want to call it. It basically is that instrument of your divine spirit. And so she's teaching an amazing class coming up in January. She's going to tell you more about, but we're currently running something through the universal language of love that we're teaching this. And so we just feel it's so important for everybody just to tune in and do what your body needs to nurture, to support, and to be available to your next level and really show up as the love that you are. So Mom, welcome. Sorry about that, everybody, for the technology stuff. And that was my fault. I actually hadn't clicked on the right button. So here we are, and welcome back.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to share with you really what has become a passion of mine is to totally embody and adore and revere our body temple. It is the vessel, the holy vessel that holds the life force that enables us to touch and to feel and to totally be alive here. Last night, I was remembering this quote, which I had on my website for so long, and it was by Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And I don't think it's possible to be truly alive until you are completely at ease in your body temple, like you revere it and see it so differently. I spent years, so many tears, wishing my body was different. No one really knows how I deeply thought that I was born forever the ugly duckling. And I was so in constant turmoil because in this world, we're moving in and out with other people. And I'm like in knots wondering what everyone's thinking of me. And my whole focus was on this outer shell, which is totally miraculous. Until one specific day, which I will address in the upcoming 6-week course that I have coming up in just a few weeks. And it is a 6-week transformational journey into the heart and soul of your body temple. So yeah, go ahead, Abby.
No. It's all good. It's funny, to be honest, I did not sleep a whole lot last night and I'm feeling it. And so it's just to really notice that I had a really awesome, intensive weekend, but it was just, I'm exhausted. And so I'm like, all right, how can I move from this place now to take care of my body? So I think it's a constant practice of, realizing the importance of it and then moving back into alignment with it. So I'm just noticing how that is in ways we can actually lift ourselves up. So maybe we didn't get enough sleep like I didn't last night, or maybe we needed to eat a little something different. How do we tune back in and just shift into that higher frequency and just obviously give our bodies what we need? But is there a way that you advise us just kind of listening to what our next step is to just raise that frequency and embody that love?
Well, yes. And it is truly what I realized is that the only way out of this whole idea that our body should be something different than what it is, and whether we're feeling exhausted or whether we wish it looked different, that the only way out of that is in. And so when we move inside and we just notice a single cell, do we understand that one single cell? I remember in reading years ago in Deepak's book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, that he speaks about the human body in a single cell, that it actually does 6 trillion things per second and has to know what all the other cells are doing. That's one single cell in our body. And if we just look at what's happening in a single cell, and we have over 37 trillion. So it's really getting in touch with the miracle of life within us, the life of who we are, this whole all that we've taken for granted. Like we wake up in the morning and like the first thing we think of is, either the dread or maybe not the gratitude for a new day. Whether our body hurts or not, or we got to get going, we got to push, push, push. And it's like, there's no reverence. There's no present moment awareness to this sacred, holy temple that is ours, that we get to, the more we walk into that temple, the more holy it becomes. It's like noticing your body temple as you would any other temple, that you go and visit. It calls a sacredness to it, just walking beside it, and it draws you in. And there's that invitation to walk in. And there's this holy, holy, holy presence within us that if we just move into that space, suddenly we're aware of our own magnificence. And everything else really disappears in that. It's like a light switch. When you turn on a light switch, the darkness disappears. And there's so much light within us, so much light. And that's why, I am so excited about this course that I am launching here soon, because when we're so tied up with the outside of everything and not really into our body, there's always a light within us. So there's always a glimmer. And yet, when you actually move inside, which I get to show you these pivot points, when you move inside, that glimmer actually becomes this deep outer glow, radiating of a deep, deep inner peace. And when you have that deep inner peace, you can move through life no matter what the outside circumstances are, and still radiate the light within you. This world needs that right now. We really, really need to be embodied in our body and revere and rise to love our body and who we are within it, so that we have that direct connect to the source of all that is, and that connection is leading us and guiding us no matter what the chaos is happening around us. Because when we're clear, when we have that clear connection, our body is that sacred, holy temple of intuition. And that intuition will lead us the most trivial things to the most super important things. I noticed, oh my goodness, over the weekend, I lost this ring. It was a really special ring for me. It meant a lot. And we had moved recently. I could not for the life of me think what I did with that ring. And I looked at all the places should be. It's supposed to be there. And I really spent a few days just like, wow, how could I lose that ring? And yet I knew deep inside that intuitive voice is saying, it's here somewhere. So one night I just thought, okay, that ring was in this dish on this shelf. Could it have possibly fallen into the basket that was below it? And I'm like, oh, that would be impossible. But the next morning I'm like, you know what, check that basket. And I started to talk myself out of it. It's like, why would it couldn't fall in that basket. So what I had done, it was a basket of towels that I had folded, clean towels. And so I took all the towels out, and lo and behold, I took out one of the towels, and here was some of my precious jewelry that I had put in between clean towels in that basket. And that special ring was sitting there. And my intuition was telling me the whole time, our body is such a conduit of information if we just open up, and we get in the way all the time. And so I guess my point is, it can be something as a thing that you've lost, that your body, because you're in your body, you're led to exactly what you need. And when we're in these really, really dark times in so many ways, I mean, there's a lot of fear around us. And heaviness. I mean, sometimes we can wake up. I have woke up in the night even, and it's almost like this heavy, a panic almost, like, and I don't even know what it is. And these 6 pivotal points that I want to show you in this course, it's what I use time and again just to go inside and bring me back to who I am. And I cannot, every single time, these pivotal points have shifted me into this panic, into an openness of deep love, safety, deep inner peace. And I'm just so grateful to be able to share this with you, and to really highlight the reverence and sacredness and holiness and beauty and magnificence and miracle of your body temple.
I think that's so, important for us to recognize that whatever energy we may feel around us, we can keep our connection to the universe, right? To the source of all that is. And that light, right? You can say love, right? To attune to love, like I just remember one of my dear friends, tell me that is it resonate with love? And so to keep resonating with love. And it was so fun because this weekend, we actually had a VIP weekend for one of my students. It was such a beautiful weekend. And we're walking down the street, moving up our chakras. And then there was this interference, kind of like you were saying, it was just like this interference. And it was just like, whoa. And it was actually somebody asking us if we could take their picture. And we both intuitively got a no. But I was like, oh, well, maybe we should or whatever. And it completely threw our energy off. And we had to realign. So we were actually moving from the 5th to the 6th chakra, which is basically your expression to your vision. And so it was really fascinating. I was so proud of my student because she said no. And I was like, oh, well, maybe. And it was like, just stay in tune with your intuition. And then my intuition is like, and now we're going to move past that point where we had the interference and keep walking to the activation point of the 6th and 7th chakra. And so, even if you get interference or for a moment do something as you feel like you should, you can still come back to center, back to your intuition, and realign and keep moving up to that higher vision, that higher light and your connection. And your 7th chakra is actually your I am presence, right? Meaning the presence of love, of God, of the universe, whatever word you want to use, that is the embodiment of that, creation of love, right? So it's just fascinating that, regardless what comes across your path, you actually can maintain that connection. And if things kind of start to throw you off center, it's like, how do you come back to that center? So I'm wondering, what is the way that you, Mom, connect with your intuition? I know for me how I do it, and I've shared a lot, about the way I do it. Is there a way that you'd like to share that you connect to your intuition through your body?
Yeah, so it's really impossible to have intuition, a clear intuition, unless you are in your body. Like that's the most miraculous form to be able to connect to that and root deeply inside. So when we're truly embodied, we're here, like we belong here. Like our feet are so deep, like we can feel Mother Earth's heartbeat under our feet. Like we know that we belong and we're here. And when we feel that safety and that, because, the matrix around this earth is a kind of a big, huge mess. And that is not where we want to connect. We want to get through all of that and connect to truly the elements. Like we are created of all of the elements of the earth. So connecting deeply within and feel our the presence of our holy body temple, and that it is so safe and it is so solid, then we can feel that source of information coming through us into our heart, and then deep into the heart of the womb space of our heart. So when we feel those all aligned, like we know, and we're led. So the mind is always wanting to go looping around and around. We know that we are connected to our intuition. I mean, the easiest and fastest way is just like, I hold my heart, because I know I need to get in touch with my heart. Because when I am in touch with my heart, you just put your hands on your heart right now, just feel your heart. And as you're just focused in the sense and feeling of your hands on your heart, did you notice that your mind went silent? So our mind isn't, our intuition, like that's our brilliant, amazing mind. But when we focus in on our heart and feel our heart, the mind goes silent, and it actually feels safe to follow the guidance of the heart that was created before the brain in the womb, by the way. So the heart knows the way, and the brain wants so bad to follow when it feels safe enough to follow the instructions of the heart. And that are creations that are formed in the deep heart womb space of that intuition within us. Our creations become extremely powerful, extremely alive. We get to birth a new world together.
So I know one of the easiest ways that I've connected with my intuition is to bring my awareness into my heart, and then to also drop into my gut feeling, a place of a knowingness. And that presence can then almost be held, like the lotus flower, and it just kind of sits and it's held in love. And it kind of moves like a magnet. You'll notice your body will be drawn to certain people or things. And we were even noticing, I live close to some meditation gardens, and we were noticing how the palm trees literally lean in towards the meditation gardens. Like nature itself feels the love and leans in. So, as you're following your joy and noticing what makes you feel alive, where is your body leaning in towards? And where is it pulling away from? And just kind of notice that compass of your body, and your intuition like leading you through it. And, the place of the mind is, I think that, we can acknowledge the mind and love it like from a place of non-judgment. So you're never making your mind wrong. I hear my guides through my mind, through my brain, right? Like I hear it as an audible thing. So our minds are beautiful. It's really working together with everything. And if you look at the heart, like you were talking about, as the center of our being, it's pretty cool to think that your heart is actually created even before your mind, which makes sense, right? Because we're all connected in love. So that's just very cool. And the other memory I'm just noticing, we were watching this beautiful family in the park, and they had 3 kids and a husband and wife. We were just observing how like the love was being held. Like, I mean, it was 2 little twins, adorable little white hats, and their brother was coming, giving him a hug, and the mom was just there nurturing. So it's like just feeling that foundation of love and that resonance of love. Your life can be brought into harmony. And I feel like, yeah, sometimes things do come and you're like, whoa. And it's like, can you come back to center and feel that presence of love within you? And again, leaning in towards and away from what doesn't serve you, right? And trusting that, if something doesn't serve you, then there's something higher actually that's going to serve you even more, that you can lean towards. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that, but that's just kind of what came through as I was listening to you.
Well, and as we become more aware of our body and we walk through life, we notice that the trees bow to us, the flowers sing to us. Like we're so aware of the magic of every single moment because we're embodied in this amazing vessel of life. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, you connect to intuition through your heart. Yeah. And you just kind of feel your heart guiding you.
But then yeah, but it's like you said, like, in your gut, like, yes. So I have a really deep sense in my heart. The heart really is the stargate to the spirit, I mean, it's the gateway. So as we move into our heart, so that the mind chatter is silent, can feel deeply into your womb space, that gut where you're calling it.
It's beautiful. I can feel it.
Yeah. I mean, like if you've seen, like I'm so not a scientist, but pictures of the skeleton, like the actual bones are like a heart shape with the, so, yeah. So it feels like that's the second heart, like, or the one heart combined. Like we're so created to be in full alignment and full harmony of who we are, from the single cell working and loving and adoring us in every nanosecond. Because we can be so abusive to our body, and you know what, our cells are still, it's just like the sun rises and sets. Your cells are doing everything they can to move you into balance as best they can, no matter what, and they always will. And so that's why when we begin to rise to love and revere our body, we start to ask and have conversations with ourselves, and treat them with like, what can I do? What can I what can I give you to help you restore, rebuild and repair? What environment do you need? What nutrients do you need? And your intuition literally can tell you what you need. I remember, wow, I think I was in my 40s, and I remember feeling like my body kind of shift, like it just didn't feel on, like just my health. Something was missing. Something had changed. And I just like, what is that? And this is like kind of really before I was so conscious of really being embodied and having conversations with my cells. But I'm like, what is it that you need? And I just kind of had this prayer. I really asked, and my husband and I went to the park, and we laid our blankets out on the lawn and each had a book. And I'm just like, just vegging and enjoying it. And I had that thought again, something's off. What do I need? What do my cells need? Cells, can you just tell me? And in that moment, a little breeze just kind of blew across me, and I saw this paper roll across the ground, and I reached out and I picked it up, and it was a multi-green powder, a green powder. Like, so it was like, oh my goodness, that is totally my answer. I really need to have more greens in more raw, alive food, and my cells are craving that right now. And so, and then, shortly after that, this company comes to me and they have this like amazing powder green product that totally changed how my body was. But so that's what I mean. Like when we're so in tune with our body and we have conversations with ourselves, they're speaking to us and talking to us all the time. They want us to feel good. They want us to feel free. They want us to be like how we're truly alive. What this world needs is people who come alive. So.
I just invite everybody to move into that presence of love within your own body, feeling your own spirit alive, well, healthy, vibrant. Just even visualizing white light, the crown of your head, down through your heart, into your belly, down through your legs and your toes, connecting you straight to the core of the earth, feeling you're welcomed, wanted, and loved here and now that you belong. Breathing that in, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And just noticing the power of your breath, breathing life through you, giving life to your cells. And I know, Mom, that you've really shared a lot, about the breath and the universal language of love class that we've been talking about, just how our breath is that obviously life force. And so just bringing more of that in and noticing how we can harmonize with the pulse of the universe, right? Like nature, people, how we can harmonize even through our breath. And I notice that even when I'm tired, then I'm actually focusing on my breath. It brings me present. It brings me to the aliveness of my alertness and ability to be. So maybe putting one hand on your heart, the other hand on your belly, and feeling that presence even through your breath. And now your aura is starting to expand and extend. And noticing how that spark of light and joy within you gets ignited. And as it does, it radiates more light to others, to where you live, to where you are right now, to nature. And that you're so important. Just feeling that and just noticing what your heart is calling you to do, the embodiment of your purpose. Where is your body leaning towards? What is your intuition guiding you and supporting you to do? And just noticing and just, hearing my students say, wow, like, you're so blessed to be here. My intuition got me here. I listened. Where is your intuition guiding you? Because the path is already paved with love before you. And so as you listen and take one step in love and then the next step, you'll find that the light's right underneath your feet. So just listen and trust, right? So that feeling that feels good, that feels light, second chakra, it's active, it's alive, that is your joy. And follow it. And then, obviously nurture and support your body to keep giving you that guidance so your heart can open, your expression can be shared, and your vision can be lived. And that I am presence of you is embodied. And you really do experience more joy the more and more you embody your beautiful spirit. So if your eyes are closed, maybe coming back to the room and just noticing the quality of your own presence as you tune into it and really feel the essence of you. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and open the phone lines. We usually do it like 15 minutes at least before, but if you'd like to ask a question to either my mom or I, you can call 858-692-4555. Again, that's 858-692-4555 if you have any questions. And Mom, is there anything else you wanted to add to that at all?
That was a beautiful meditation. That was great.
You want to know something powerful about the spirit? Thank you for saying that, because I honestly feel exhausted. And sometimes things come through me even when I am exhausted. And I remember one time months ago, I think when they had just started talking about the coronavirus, remember when I did that video and I was like, hey, let's all just connect and feel our hearts. I remember I was so tired. It was really early in the morning, but that presence of love actually heals and uplifts. So even if you are tired like me right now, that presence of love is so powerful. And when you move into that heart space, it can heal you and uplift you and then obviously guide you. But I think it's fascinating because honestly, my mind's like, oh my goodness, is that even, we're like just kind of watching the mic chatter, right? But I'm like, whatever. Like, I know I'm showing up in love. So I trust that, and I know even when I was 19, it's like, I was sitting with people like twice, three times my age. And I was like, I trust they're here. Don't necessarily know what I'm going to say next, but I trust that presence. So when you can trust that presence of love more than anything, like I believe, and it's weird, it almost brings tears to my eyes because I feel that I don't want to use it's what's coming is I don't want to use the word being tested, right? But that we're being given an opportunity to actually rise into more love and to feel what we feel and notice the message, right? Because it's important. I really, I for years was like, oh, I feel the fear and do it anyways. Yes, and also get the message because it's probably telling you something. So when you're in communication with it, you can get the message and then let go, right? Like it's like when you have a headache. I mean, I've helped people heal from headaches before, and it's like they needed the message. And notice I said help people heal because I've been able to facilitate some amazing physical healings with people, but I'm helping them, right? They're doing it. We're all doing it because our bodies know, right? So the facilitation of what our bodies already know how to do, it's amazing, like truly amazing. So I feel to give ourselves credit for the capacity that we have to heal and the ability to remember. And as we call in everything we need, like not even joking, a little yellow butterfly went from that tree all the way up the window to here, like right up here, right? And I've noticed so often that happening, right? White butterflies were on the walk yesterday. I mean, it's just, it shows up, right? So what you need is going to show up. And when you're in that vibration of love, you're going to attract like a magnet more love. And if there's anything disconnecting you from that presence of love, bring more love to it. How can it heal? How can it be restored? What beliefs need to be let go of that are disconnecting you potentially from love? Can you be willing to let those go so you can remember your wholeness if you've forgotten it? Maybe you haven't forgotten it. Maybe you're already aware that you already have it. And so standing in that powerful place, you can create with love, through love as you, and then magnetize it, right? And create that ripple. So anyways, there you have it. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah. And love, of course, is like in our hearts. And some people can't even feel their heart. And it's like, so when we can actually move inside and feel our heart, that's where love is, you know. Life is always bowing to us, always supporting us. And like you said, the butterfly and all of these, we become, when we're actually embodied in this body temple of ours, we see those things. And they are magnetized to us. And they're always there for other people too. They just don't see them. I've thought so many times when I've looked out at the most beautiful rainbow that just like, oh, I'm just like stand in awe of its beauty. And I think that rainbow is there for thousands of people. They all get to see it. And I wonder how many stopped in awe and felt life giving to them. I wonder how many were just driving down the road, didn't even see it, or saw it and thought nothing of it. And how many actually took that blessing in. So when life is always blessing us. And it is like light under your feet.
Maybe just be aware of what you notice, right? I think like the more you become aware, then you'll see it, right? So the more you're aware of the presence of love, the more you feel it and see it. Yeah, because if you do feel, I believe you can always feel your heart. It's always there.
Yeah, it's always there. It's just some people's hearts have been broken so many times. They're afraid to feel it, you know? And yet it's the safest place to be.
It's really funny. My guides were literally saying it's the safest place to be. And then you said it. That's so funny. Because it really, obviously, it's the home. It's your home. Right?
It is your home. No matter where you are, it's like when I could finally get to that place where I was inside and I could just say, my heart is my home. Home, you know, home is where your heart is. Heart is where my home is. Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share about your class coming up in January, about how you'll be teaching, what you'll be teaching, what people can expect in moving into what you're teaching?
Yeah, so it is a 6-week course, which like the pivotal points will be moving just based on what worked for me and has worked for me and never not worked for me. These pivot points that I get to teach you from that will really move you from self-conscious to soul aware. I mean, painfully self-conscious is where I was.
Soul
To
aware. I love soul aware. That's cool. Soul
where,
aware. Cool.
yeah. And self-contempt, which is just always saying all these things that, that inner voice that says all the things we're not. That self-contempt to majestic power. And another pivot point that we will be going over is the really from anxious to deep inner peace, which is so easy to get knocked from, especially it seems like in these times right now. And then, I talked earlier about that inner glimmer that we all have within us, but to move that pivot point, to move from an inner glimmer to a natural glow that radiates out, no matter outside circumstances. So I'm not saying that you're just joyful, happy, laughing, smiling all the time. No, because life hits us. And no matter what we go through in life, though, when you have a deep, deep embedded inner peace, that inner peace will radiate out no matter what. And that's the stability that we all want. And, as we walk through life, day to day and experience to experience, is just to not be knocked around, but just to be solid. And in that deep inner peace that radiates a natural glow. And a natural glow automatically attracts amazing things. Like it's a light, it's a beacon, and it will radiate, it will magnetize to us.
I think you're right. It does radiate light out and magnetize in. So it's and I still teach in the intuitive success coaching certification program. I talk about the 4 rings of energy. So you have basically like the etheric spiritual realm, and then it comes into the mental ring, and then the emotional, and then the physical, and then your gut. And so when an idea or an energy form comes through the spiritual, the mental, emotional, physical, and hits your gut and it feels right, it's like you create, right? And if it doesn't, you let it go. And then the same actually happens from within. When you feel something from your gut, it radiates out through your physical body, to your emotional, to your mental, out into the spiritual. So it's this constant, like a radio wave, giving and receiving. So it's exactly what you said. It's radiating and magnetizing, radiating and magnetizing. So the question is, what are you radiating and magnetizing, right? And so if there's energetic blocks, those are, again, they're almost like dislodged, like energy. Like the way I see them is like little kind of like black dots that are like in the energy field of love, which is what you are. And again, they're like conditioned, taught patterns that are not true. And so when those get released, then that resonance can happen. So I just think it's fascinating when you said that. They're like, share about the rings, because you can move into that and actually even use those rings as your protection of love and light. It naturally is, right? Because you're just radiating and magnetizing that.
Exactly. Yeah. So the other thing, just going back to my course, is that I really love to connect one-on-one. And so this course, although it will be group, I will be having one-on-one sessions that will be included in it. So that, because even though we're all the same, we all are unique into ourselves. And so I get to just acknowledge and be with you, so we get to do the one-on-one and then some group coaching as well. And so we love it.
It feels like, what a gift. And I know I really do credit a lot of the way I love my body and treat my body to you, Mom, because you are always like, listen to your body, love your body. And I do. It's such a beautiful, like, that's always been easy for me. And I realized that, I feel part of your role could very much be helping people love their bodies. So if you're feeling like, you love your body, but maybe you feel pain, or maybe you do have judgment towards your body, whatever it is, to be held in that presence of love. I mean, I think it's amazing, like babies learn from their parents non-verbally even. And I think that I just learned like from such a young age that like, take care of your body, and it is the sacred temple. So it's just fascinating because it's like, as much as I help people heal their bodies, I feel so in love with my body. And it's very cool because I think you taught me that. And so I know you're a great teacher of that, of being able to kind of entrain with your light as your body and just being in the flow of that. So the healing that takes place. And then, I feel like, there's nothing like your own experience to have lived it and transformed it in a way that you're like, I'm healthy and radiant as more than ever, right? And feeling that glow. So thank you. And I invite people, if it feels right for you, to connect with her, even for like 15 minutes, to talk and see how she can help you. Because it's like when you feel that presence awaken in you, and then steps to take to actually let those the blocks be cleared out of those rings, right? Where you can actually feel that love and magnetize it in. I mean, you do experience that joy. So, Mom, is there a way that, what is your email that people can connect with you if they want to just have maybe a 15-minute conversation? Would you be open to that?
Absolutely. So Theresa, Theresa, Theresa at theresagooch.com. And that's Theresa, G as in George, OOCH.com. I've had all kinds of, I always say the G as in George because sometimes people don't hear that correctly. So anyway.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I remember that.
Email me, you can put subject line body temple and just write, connect with me in whatever way you would like to. And if you want to stay in the loop of what's happening in my world and that launch of that course coming up, just give me an email and I'll include you in that list.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's such a gift to ourselves, and I notice like the people I work with, and also myself, when I take that time, life looks different. Like it just has a different, you see differently. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to share, Mom, about, the body as a sacred temple, about intuition, your experience, anything else that comes to mind?
Well, you were just talking about eyes, having new eyes. And, in this course, I really touch on, oh my gosh, like the body temple of your eyes. You get that your eyes are the windows of your soul. And how many times do we look in the mirror and say all kinds of other things? But can you look into the windows of your soul? There you can say, I love you. I love you. And, there's so much more, like our eyes, like it really is a prayer of mine and a gratitude for all that I can see. It's a vision. It's a place of vision. It's a place of envisioning. It's a place of insight. It's a place of perspective. May I see love in everyone and everything. May I look for God, or whatever word, source, in everyone and everything.
And in yourself, yeah? And in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Especially yourself. Mm-hmm. Because when you are filled up with that and you have that lens within to see that, that's all you see without. Like it's like it's so within, so without. Yeah, as within, so without.
It's funny. Last night I was thinking like having my own back, like having our own back, right? That constant support. If we were to imagine almost like taking our hands and just holding that presence behind our own back, behind our own heart, holding that space of love and just being supported in that. Maybe even just taking a moment to feel that, having your own back. And it's funny, as I'm doing this, it kind of looks like wings. It's like as you hold your own back, you kind of realize, oh, there's a wings, right? And it allows your journey to be so much lighter, and I think to let go easier of the heaviness. And I remember one of my teachers, shared about disease, right? So disease is like there's a disease in the body, right? So asking yourself if you're experiencing an emotional or physical disease, in the sense even something that feels conflict, right? What is it needs to come into harmony, right? And I do something called parts integration, where you can actually bring two parts of you together and like, what does both parts need? Because again, they have a message, and it's not to deny any part of you, it's to listen, like you would a kid. What do you need? And support, so I'm not big on rules. It's like, well, don't tell somebody no unless you tell them why. What is it that they're needing? So it's like, to tell a kid, it's like, what's the reason why? And even yourself, right? To listen, what is it you need and why?
Right. Yeah. I love that, because when you were doing that, it was like, I saw wings. Was so
Did you?
And I'm like, yeah, we are angels. Like, we are totally angels with angel wings, and we do have our back with our angel wings.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a beautiful necklace. Is it? Sometimes I feel like we can put certain things on our bodies, hold a frequency. Is there anything you want to share about just, frequencies of, holding your body higher? Is there a frequency? I'm just feeling a frequency of that. What is that?
Actually, this is Hathar's pendant. So it's a flower of life, and then Hathar is on the back, and it actually was made by Kaya Ra, who is, and she's energized these to totally support us in being like having that support completely around us, and walking in the light and truth of who we are. So anyway, so I do. Yes. Wow. I love her jewelry. It's pretty amazing.
It's beautiful. And I'm shaking my head because it just reminds me, I knew I asked you that for a reason. So I remember, I think it was years ago, I was walking in a post office, and I had this moment of connecting with this woman who just kind of like really shared her life story about, like, I think her husband had passed. It was really intense. And she's like, I want to give you something. Like, what's your address? I'm like, okay, thank you. So I give her my address, and she sent me a flower of life symbol. I actually think I have it still. And it was like that energy of life, that in that moment we connected in love. She shared, a lot of her grief, and felt so grateful. She wanted to give something, and it was the flower of life. Mm-hmm. And I look at that symbol a lot, and it's like life giving. And to remember, within us is the flower of life. And so to bring that, it's a geometrical shape, I believe, like sacred geometry, and just notice like what energy is wanting to give birth within you. And that flower of life, just seeing the connectedness of it. You can look it up online. Like, it's just so beautiful. So I think that's so cool. Like, thank you for wearing that and sharing that. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is the sacred geometry in all of life. Yeah. Flower of life.
Very cool. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we log off this morning?
Just love who you are with new eyes, and move inside. If you're really, if you're in that tension of always wondering about the outside and kind of being batted around in a sense, move inside to the love of who you are with new eyes, and you'll walk taller. And life will become so magical, so alive. You will be one of those who have come alive.
Beautiful. I love walking taller, feeling the presence, the radiance of you, and noticing that energetically you can feel way taller than you actually are. And just feeling your presence of love light up a room, and just know that you are perfect as you are. And we're so happy that you listened today. So have a beautiful week. Definitely make sure to reach out, Theresa at theresagooch.com. And that class should be really amazing. So thanks so much for being here, Mom. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.